So today we will discuss what is intrapleural pressure, how is it generated and where is it generated and why is it generated. Now as every one of you know, this is a lung. Now lung is surrounded by a layer of pleura. Pleura, it has two sublayers, a visceral pleura and a parietal pleura. Now you can see this purple one, it is the visceral pleura. Visceral pleura is attached to the lung surface. Surrounding the lung surface, it is the visceral pleura, and the parietal pleura, it is attached to the chest wall cavities. Throughout the chest wall cavity, the parietal pleura is attached to the inside of the chest wall cavity. And the space between the visceral pleura and the parietal pleura is called the pleural cavity, which is filled by a fluid, that is pleural fluid. Now this is the space where intrapleural pressure is generated. Now we'll see why is it generated. Let's come to this diagram. As you can see, this is the respiratory system. These are the lungs and this is the chest wall cavity. The cube represents the chest wall cavity in which the lungs are suspended. Right? Now, as you can see, this is the visceral pleura. As I already said, it is attached to the lung surface, and this is the parietal pleura. It is attached to the chest wall cavity. Now, this is how the respiratory system looks when the system is at rest, that is at its resting volume. That is, neither the lungs are inflating, neither they are deflating. No inspiration occurring, no expiration occurring. This is how it looks. But when we remove the lungs from the chest cavity and put it on a table, and we remove the chest wall cavity and put it on a table, what happens? See, as you can see in the respiratory system, when the lungs are inside the chest wall cavity, they are slightly bigger. But when you put the lungs alone, you can see their size decreases. Whereas for chest wall, it is the opposite. The chest wall is slightly contracted, but when you remove just the chest wall without the lungs, you can see it slightly expands. Now, why does this happen? Let's see. Lungs have in them elastic tissue, collagen, which causes the lungs to have a tendency to recoil. As let's take a rubber band. If you stretch the rubber band, it will return to its normal position. Why will it return to its normal position? It is because it has an elastic recoil in it. Similarly, lungs have an elastic recoil in them. When you stretch the lungs, they have a tendency to return back to their normal position. So this is the normal position of the lungs, and this is the stretched position of the lungs. We'll see why, but let's talk about chest wall cavity first. Now this is the contracted version of the chest wall cavity, and this is the expanded version of the chest wall cavity. This is when you put the chest wall cavity alone on the table. Now, as I've already said, there is a visceral layer, visceral pleura attached to the lung surface. Now, these visceral and parietal pleura are very sticky. Okay, so when you put both these things together, there is a stickiness that develops between these two layers. Because of that stickiness, the lungs are slightly stretched from their normal position, which is this, and the chest wall cavity, which originally is expanded, is slightly contracted because of the stickiness between these two layers. But as soon as you take out the lungs, because of their elastic recoil, they have a tendency to return back to their normal position, so they contract a little. But then you'll ask, why does chest wall cavity not return to its normal position? Does it have elastic recoil? Now, chest wall cavity has ribs. Ribs are the structures that prevent the chest wall cavity collapse, and because of ribs, the chest wall cavity is not that highly elastic as the lungs are. So chest wall cavity does not have a tendency to collapse or contract, rather it has a tendency to expand. Okay? Now when we talk about the respiratory system where both the things are together, we can see because of the stickiness developed between these two layers, the lungs are stretched out a little and the chest wall cavity is pulled in a little, right? Now let's suppose we put a rubber band, stretch it and put it inside a box. Now obviously it will have a tendency to come back to its position. but it cannot come back to its position because a sticky layer is attached all surrounding it, which prevents it to return to its normal position. But as soon as you separate or you take out the sticky layer and put it alone, it will return to its normal position. So the main thing to learn here is that when the lungs and the chest wall cavity are put in together, because of a stickiness developed between the parietal and the visceral layer, the lungs expand a little and the chest wall cavity contracts a little from their resting volume. This is the resting volume of the lungs. Resting volume meaning the volume of the lungs when they are neither stretched nor expanded. This is their resting volume, and this is the resting volume of the chest wall cavity. Now let's talk about intrapleural pressure and how does it develop. Now, as we saw, these are the stickiness develops between these two layers, and lungs have a tendency to collapse in, right? So lungs are being constantly pulled inside and chest wall has a continuous tendency to pull out, right? So when these both are put in together, obviously lungs are stretched a little and the chest wall cavity is contracted a little, but because of that they will constantly have a tendency to return back to its normal shape. So because of the two opposing forces acting, there is a pressure that develops in the pleural cavity, and that pressure is called the intrapleural pressure. Because the forces are acting in opposite directions, it is always and always negative. But the pleural pressure is not uniform throughout the lung. Now let's see this diagram where we see a bigger version of the lung. This is the visceral layer and this is the parietal layer. This is the pleural cavity. Now, as I told that the pleural pressures are not same throughout the lung. And why is that? Because there are different forces acting on the lung at different places. Now, as you know that the lung is divided into three zones. This is the first zone, this is the second zone, and this is the third zone. And these are the alveoli in each zones. Now let's talk about this first zone. As you can see that this is the visceral layer, this is the parietal layer, this here will be where the interpleural pressure will be created. Now intrapleural pressure will obviously pull the lungs outwards, right? So there will be a pressure that will be acting outwards here, that will be pulling the lungs outwards. Now, as everyone knows, gravity plays a very important role. Gravity acts downwards and puts a downward force on this alveoli. So you can see that there are two opposite forces acting on this alveoli. That is an upward pressure because of the intrapleural pressure and a downward pressure due to the gravity. Because of this, a greater negative intrapleural pressure develops here. Again, why? Because there are two opposite forces acting on the same alveoli. So a greater stretch occurs, and that is why greater stretch in the pressure occurs, and that is why a greater negative pleural pressure is generated. Whereas in this we can see this is the third zone, the base of the lung. The intrapleural pressure is pulling lungs downwards, right? Here is the this is a visceral layer, this is the intrapleural cavity. So it is pulling, intrapleural pressure is pulling the lungs downwards, whereas gravity is also acting downwards only. So there are two forces which are acting on the alveoli and both are stretching it downwards in the same direction. So a less negative intrapleural pressure develops at the base of the lung, that is minus 2.5 centimeter H2O, compared to the apical portion of the lung where a greater negative pressure of minus 10 centimeter of water develops. And in the middle it is minus 5. So this was all about intrapleural pressure. How is it generated? Why is it generated? Where is it generated? I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.